everybody, and welcome to another episode of the This Old Knit podcast. Did I forget to check which episode it was? Yes, I did. Let's see if I even remember how to do this. But I do have a little bit of notes. It's just prize winners for the quarterly drawing for the 2 cals that we have going. But welcome to all new viewers, and welcome back to all returning viewers. I am your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine, on Ravelry, Instagram, and Pinterest. And you can find show notes for this episode and all corresponding numbered episode threads on the numbered thread of the This Old Knit Ravelry group. I also have started hosting show notes on my defunct blog. It is thisoldknit.blogspot.com, I believe. I do think it changed to Blogger, but I feel like the URL is still Blogspot. However, I will put a link for it into the show notes on the YouTube episode as well, and I will get better about putting those on. So there are a few things that have happened since I last podcast. I haven't podcasted in probably over a month at this point, and there's several reasons for that. Predominantly, my mom came to visit for a few weeks, and while I would have loved to record an episode while she was here, it just was not in the cards. So I just tried to enjoy spending time with her. We were expecting for her to be able to stay for at least a month, but she wasn't able to, so she's already back home. But hopefully she'll be able to come in the autumn and stay for a longer amount of time. So fingers crossed on that, but unfortunately you will not get to see her on this episode. I also didn't really record any video while she was here, and I'm not sure if I got any pictures either. I might have got a few pictures of her with the kids, but yeah, it was a bit of a whirlwind as far as the visit goes. So, during the time that I've been gone, I think that when I last recorded, there was a lot of work being done in the community with Black Lives Matter, and hopefully that work continues because, hey, it's not done, guys. Just because it's fading from some people's memories, that doesn't mean it's not important, and it doesn't mean that it isn't work that should and will continue. Anti-racism work is the work of a lifetime, not the work of a month. So in that time, there was also a pretty big change to the user interface on Ravelry, and that change to the user interface caused many people with disabilities to have seizures and migraines, and to essentially make the site unusable for them. A lot of drama happened. Ravelry did some pretty bad things, and to remind people, Ravelry is not that many people. It is the 2 founders, Casey and Cassidy, and then like maybe 3 other women. So instead of kind of apologizing and saying, hey, wow, we didn't know it was going to do that, let's roll it back, let's figure it out, they basically just ignored the community for a pretty long time. And then one of the founders started tweeting some pretty bad stuff, and they issued sort of an apology that wasn't really an apology. So just saying, we're sorry if we caused any anxiety, but not acknowledging the problems that they caused. I suspect that some of that is probably some legal protections for themselves, given that if you do cause, like bodily injury, there may be some remedy there in the U.S. court system. But just a lot of mistakes were made, and I think that the way they handled it was really what rubbed me the wrong way. Like, it could have been so much more of a collaborative community effort, and it wasn't. And then on top of that, just how they embraced the Black Lives Matter movement and Pride and made a big deal about it, but that the trans community, for example, and specifically the Black trans community has a disproportionately high percentage of disabled people within the community. So it felt to me very much like saying, I accept and love this part of you, but I don't love the whole you. It's not a great look. So anyway, I want to make sure that I build an inclusive community, and I want to make sure that everybody can interact with my podcast and can participate in my knit-alongs and craft-alongs. So I don't want to exclude anyone, and I want you all to participate. So I'm brainstorming ways to do that. I do have a hashtag on Ravelry Instagram for each of my knit-alongs. So I'm probably going to start drawing for prizes also with the hashtag, so just make sure you're tagging your projects. And then for people who aren't on Instagram, I don't know, maybe I'll do a quarterly just like random giveaway on my blog, and you can just comment on that particular post. And yeah, I'll just do a draw, because it's not like I'm checking any of your projects anyway. I don't know if you're finishing stuff or if you're not finishing stuff. You could have already had it done for years. I don't know. I don't care. That's not the point of it. The point of it is for us to build a community and for us to all be enjoying these wonderful crafts of ours that we do that involve fiber. So that's my plan. I had not posted on my blog in 5 years, I think. When I started my podcast is when I kind of stopped blogging as much, because it was quite a time commitment for me to do both. And frankly, my HTML skills are pretty dang rusty at this point. But it's okay. So, like I said, my commitment to all of you is I will do show notes in YouTube, on my blog, and on Ravelry. So hopefully I've covered all the bases there. Knit-alongs I will draw from the hashtag on Instagram, and I will do a quarterly just random prize draw from my blog. Hopefully that covers all the bases. If you have other ideas, please comment on one of all of those platforms, and we can talk about it. You can also send me a DM on Instagram if you're on Instagram. So with all of that said, that was a lot. Yeah, I will announce the quarterly prize draw winners for the Stash Your Shelf Challenge and the Mojoji Kal. The Stash Your Shelf Challenge, I forgot to put the marker for the Q1 prize draw. So everyone who was in the Q1, you were also entered into Q2 as well. How I tried to alleviate that is I drew for 2 prizes. So I did 2 random number. What am I doing? That's 3. 2. I drew for 2 prizes for Q2, and then I did put in the marker for the end of Q2, so Q3 should be fine. So Q2 prize winners for the Stash Your Shelf Challenge, numbers 2 through 284, post number 30, Jane BG1923, who is Jessica, and post number 265, who is Bork P, B-O-R-K-P. So please get in touch with me on one of the platforms to coordinate your prize. If you're on Instagram, you can DM me if you can't get onto Ravelry, and we can, you know, get information exchange so I can get prizes out to you. I'll have to look at like my little prize stash and figure out what it'll be, but I can go to the post office again, so I should be able to mail things, which is great. Then for the Mojoji Kal, I don't have very many entries for this one, so it was posts number 2 through 19, and the winner was post number 7, who is Honey Cake. So again, get in touch with me on one of the platforms. Let me know you're the winner, and we'll figure out some way to coordinate getting your prize to you. So congratulations to all the winners, and thank you all for participating. As per usual, you are making a lot of really, really awesome stuff. So I have a gigantic pile of things here because it's been over a month. But let's talk about my FO, which I am wearing. So I completed my Vintage 83, which is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. I knit it out of all Knitpicks Risata, and this is deep, deep stash. I had this all before we moved to Ohio, so it's older than Megwin. So I think it's probably about 12-year-old stash. And I used all of it, almost all of it. You'll see I have a little bit left of this cream color that I'm planning on using to make a second one, because I love this sweater and I love it in this yarn. I've worn it out when it's been hot and it's not too hot. So Risata, I don't think I have any with a ball. It's a discontinued yarn from Knitpicks, but if you can get any on D-Stash, I highly, highly recommend it. So it's a combination of cotton, wool, and elastic. I think it's like 40% cotton, 20% wool, and then there's some elastic, and there's also like nylon in it. So it was originally a sock yarn, but it's very springy, which is nice for, you know, the cotton, so that it's not saggy. And that's why they made it into a sock yarn, because you would want to have summer socks out of it, but then they have enough spring that they aren't going to just stretch out and be gross like would happen if you use pure cotton yarn. So the colors I used are buttermilk, which is the cream color, sage is the light green, this is navy, and cocoa. And I did not crop it, so it is a full-length sweater. As you can see, it has this all-over texture pattern, and I made the ribbing super long so that it'd go to where I prefer to have my tops kind of mid-hip. I guess that's lower hip, mid-butt. But yeah, I really love how it fits. It's not too tight. It's a folded over hem. So now you're gonna see my ends. The ends are all woven in though, and it has been blocked. I blocked it 2 days ago. I had worn it probably like 4 or 5 times before I blocked it, but it was great. And now it's even better and softer. It's awesome. So that is, I think, my only FO for this week. But last time I had, what, 2 sweaters and a hat? So 1 sweater is probably plenty. And I do have almost a completed sweater. I would have had 2, but I ran out of yarn. So let's move on to my tale of woe, shall we? So this sweater is the As You Like It sweater by Sally Jane Knits. It is a top-down raglan sweater with garter stitch panels on the sides. And I knit it out of 3 colors and wanted it to be sort of Halloween / October themed. My original thought was that this would be my Rhinebeck sweater. Sorry, the kids are playing Hatchimals. So my original thought was that this would be my Rhinebeck sweater, but obviously Rhinebeck 2020 has been canceled, so it will not be my Rhinebeck sweater. Perhaps I will sit in it and feel sorry for myself. I won't feel sorry for myself. I'm fine. It's perfectly fine, and we're all safer for not doing it. But it will be sad not to see my friends and give them hugs and catch up and share the squishy goodness that is yarn festivals. So the first color is Pumpkin Throne from Once Upon a Corgi. The second color is Grimm. Let me see if I can turn off this. I don't think I need that. Yes, better. Okay, the second color is Grimm from Voolenvine yarns on the blitzed base. That is a knitted tail hair. And the third one is Pumpkin Kombucha, also from Voolenvine yarns. So that was the issue. So the Pumpkin Kombucha I used on my other As You Like It sweater, and I was able to do 1 large chest stripe with it and this sleeve stripe to match. So I thought I had enough to do a second sweater I didn't. So I did one stripe, I got down to another stripe on the sleeves, and this is all of the pumpkin kombucha I had. So I am out of pumpkin kombucha completely. And I feel like I still want it to be, like, I'd like to do at least half of a stripe of pumpkin, and then I was going to do the ribbing in Grimm, which I have plenty of. So I don't know. I've asked around to see if I can get like a mini or something like that. If Kristen happens to die more for the fall, I may pick up another skein so that I can do that last stripe. Or I might just put on the black ribbing and just be done with it, because this is a completed sweater except for that. It is literally all done. And I had the ribbing done in orange, but then I was like, I don't think I have enough for the sleeves. And where I had taken the sleeves off and put them on waist yarn, I had to do at least these stripes in pumpkin because I had a little strip of it. So I couldn't not do it. So I ripped back and put it on just an extra circular, and then I did the full sleeves on both sides, and then I said, okay, now let's see how much pumpkin I have left, and I did not have very much. So I do love it. It's really nice. This was one of my favorite sweaters, the As You Like It sweater. You can see it's got like these garter triangles on the sides, so that kind of just gives it a little bit of interest when you're wearing it. Yeah, that's really nice. So that is that. I knit it without waist shaping. I did not do the garter triangles on the sleeves because frankly I was just so concerned about how was I gonna finish out the pumpkin that I forgot. So there you go. So that's the As You Like It sweater, and hopefully next time that I podcast it will be done one way or another. Kind of just work my way down. So the second thing is a new cast on, and this is the don't remember the name of the pattern. Be Back DK. Be Back Top, I think. Be Back Top DK by Knitosophy. And she had a fingering weight version that's been out for a while, and she released the DK weight version. I follow her on Instagram, so I was waiting for this pattern to come out, and I cast it on right away. My V-neck does not look as big as hers, but I think once it blocks, it's going to relax and be looser. So it's supposed to have this V be in the back, and then it's just a normal scoop neck in the front, but you also can wear it with the V in the front. I might do that because I prefer V-neck sweaters. But what I did is I wound up my yarn with both ends together as one because I'm knitting it out of fingering weight held double. I don't have a ton of DK weight yarn in my stash. I'm working on changing that. I've started kind of as I'm, if I go to purchase yarn, I'm thinking about, do I want this in DK and not fingering? Because I tend to just go for fingering weight because I know the number of skeins and yards that I need to make pretty much everything that I'd want to make. But DK, I've just not worked with it as much. So I can't bring that to mind as quickly. For some of the updates that I try to get, you know, you can't be sitting there thinking about, okay, well maybe I would make this, and how many yards do I need? Like, the yarn is gone by that time. But this was yarn that I've had in my stash for a while. So this was a fade set that I bought from Pandia's Jewels, and it's a Star Wars themed fade set. I tried to make a So Faded out of it, and the yarn kind of pooled, especially like on this strip right here, which frankly I don't want big lightning bolts on my boots. So, but with it held double, it really makes it be more blended and mutes it a little bit. So I'm going to do it in a fade type way, but with this V-neck tee. So this first one, I can't remember what it is called, this colorway name, and I don't know if I put it into my project. I'm going to try to see if I can go back into my purchases on the Pandia's Jewels website and see if it's listed in the you know, your purchases listing. It's something about crash landed on Dagobah. It's supposed to be like the speeder that Luke Skywalker pilots, and then red leader and gold leader, essentially. So it's like reds, golds, and cream. And then the next colorway I'm going to use is this one, which this is called You're My Only Hope. So I'll fade into that, and it is creams, golds, and black. And then I will fade into this one, which is Chewy Hit the Hyperdrive. And then I will fade into this one, which is Drowned in Moonlight. So that will be my top. And then if it isn't long enough, I have another one, which is a dark blue, and it's called Thought I Found a Shortcut, Wound Up Frozen in Carbonite. And it's supposed to be like the, you know, when they find the asteroid that they think's an asteroid and it's not, it's really a creature that they're inside of. So that is my V-back tee. Wait, got the pattern, I can tell you. Yep, the V-back tee DK by Jamie Hoffman, who is Knitosophy on Instagram. Like philosophy, but Knitosophy. She also did the swallowtail pullover that I really want to make too. I have all the yarn for it picked out. Alright, my next object that I have not worked on a ton, but I think I haven't shown you guys getting to this point. This is my penny candy tee. I have it up to where I need to do the sleeves. So you do the sleeves and then you attach it and then you knit everything up together and knit the neck. So I'm really close. So this is up through the, you know, arm part. So it's the main part of the body is done. So I just have this bit to do, but you have to do an I-cord cast on to make it look all doobity-doobity here. And it takes a really long time. And I just haven't had the brain space or time to just sit quietly and do that. And yeah, then knit the lace, because I would have to knit the same lace as what's going to make the cap sleeve for it. But I do really want this top before it's too cold. Doesn't feel like it's ever going to be too cold again, but it will be eventually. So that's my penny candy tee. I'm doing it out of black pearl, which Kristen has started dyeing again, so you can get this color. That's the kind of semi-solid purple. The one with the neon speckles is called Paranormal. It was her Halloween color from a couple years ago. So it's got gray, neon green, and it's a cream background. And then more sparkly Grimm on the bottom. This was left over from a shawl, and then I made a Nilla the unicorn with it. So I had just a little bit left, and I technically used the scraps from this one to finish out the sleeves because I had started a shawl out of it. And so when I unraveled the shawl, I had cut bits. So I had small nuggets of yarn, but they were perfect for stripes. So now I'll be dipping into the main skein of yarn to do the sleeves and neck. And I'm actually gonna grab it because I had it over on the couch. So once I got to this one, I was gonna add it back into the project bag. Now it's all together again. That's my penny candy tea. And then during like conference calls and stuff, I've been doing some sock knitting. You know, just like if I'm sitting there listening to a training or whatever, it helps me stay focused. So I've been working on a sock for Josh and a sock for me. This is a sock for Josh. It is out of the, is it Dark and Stormy or Dark and Gloomy? I think it's Dark and Stormy colorway. From Once Upon a Corgi. It's on her Corriedale nylon base. It's on her Corriedale nylon base, which I think is her Marie Cutie base. I'm excited to see how it wears. It feels pretty sturdy. I think it's gonna be good, and I love the colorway. So it's kind of almost purpley tans, light blues, and darker cornflower blues. Sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, it's just a sock for Josh. 72 stitches. I finished the heel flap and gusset, so now I'm just working on the foot. It's going pretty well. This is the first one of the pair. Yeah, so it's gonna take a bit, but that's okay. Socks are socks. Don't really excite me to knit, but I do like having him knit socks, and he certainly needs more pairs. So that's that. And then I have my other sock. Whoa. Is this one. I finished the first one a couple months ago. They're in Knitpicks Hawthorne sock reels. This one is I think Rugby Stripe. I also have sun bleached stripe, which is like a cream with a faded rainbow. So they're both rainbowy. So I finished the heel flap. I just turned the heel, and now I will pick up stitches for the gusset and work my way down the foot. They didn't quite match up. A combination of the gray portion being a little bit longer and some of the stripes not being the same size, but it's mostly from the gray not being as long as for my first one. Like where I ended here on the pink, I rolled it off until I got to the gray, but obviously this gray section was not as long, or was longer than this one. But otherwise, the stripe progression is the same. I just will have a longer, my heel flap will be a combination of pink and gray rather than being all gray. That's okay. They're a little bit like wavy because it's being knit off of a little tiny sock blank. It looks like this. It's like a tube. I couldn't take it anymore though, so I did at least cake it up. So I didn't like yanking it so hard to get it off of the sock reel. So that is my set of vanilla socks. I need to wash my socks today. I have a lot of them to do. We're getting close to the end, guys. Okay, thank you.
And this is Ada.
Oh, no, I do have it. Let me do that. So I have two actually. This one is a test knit of a shawl I'm doing for Tyne, who is the Cleverest stitch on Instagram. And I'm doing it out of two colors of Knitpicks, or two kinds of Knitpicks. Okay, why don't you get some yogurt and chocolate chips?
No.
No? How about some frozen mango? There's a bag of mango in there. A little bit left. Or a banana. Or a granola bar. You know all the choices. There's lots of choices. Okay, so a cheese bar? You mean a cheese stick? We don't have any cheese sticks. Sorry. So this one is Capretta, Knitpicks Capretta, in like a slate, I think is the colorway. Nope, I'm not. It's a gray. And then this gold is Knitpicks Stroll, and I can't remember what it is. I feel like it's Sunset or something like that. They didn't have the color anymore online. They have one that's similar called Sunflower. So the idea was to make it be house colors for the recipient. So this will be a gift. So yeah. So now I've finished. This was the first section. This was the second section. And then now I'm doing the third section. And I need a bigger needle, obviously, because it's all scrunched up. But it'll be the solid gold color. So yeah, I like it so far. It's been pretty fast knitting. I did this all in, I think, 2 days, and I wasn't even knitting on it exclusively. So it should be done pretty quickly. And I'm also going to enter this into Bad Wolf Girls Christmas in July Cal, because it is a gift for the Christmassy time. So hopefully I'll finish it pretty quickly. And I think that Tyne is talking about releasing this around the December or January time frame. So if you are interested in knitting it, I'll let you know when the pattern comes out. That is my test knit, and I really love Capretta. This is the first time I've used it. It's good. So I got 2 skeins of it. It comes at a little bit smaller of a put up. I think it's 200 and something yards, so you will need 2 to equal to a normal skein of fingering weight like sock yarn. But yeah, it's really nice. So the last thing that I'm knitting on, this one has been taking up most of my time. This is where I've spent most of my energy, is the Hinterland Sweater. So I'm knitting this out of Once Upon a Corgi in the Purred colorway, which is in a quart of Mist and Fury reference. But yeah, Rhysand is my favorite character, and so this is a scene with Rhysand and Feyre, and the pattern made me think of like the pine forest where the scene takes place, and then like the inn in the pine forest. So that's why I chose this pattern. It's a Jennifer Steingass pattern. I think it'll make a really nice like Christmas sweater too, but it's just a nice like winter sweater. So I finished the trees. Let me see if I can stretch it out a little bit without taking anything off the needles, because I had 2 stitches fall off the needles. They were about 4 stitches apart, and they fell down like 6 rows and 4 rows. So I had to pick up all of that in color work with a crochet hook. The kids were screaming and running around. Most stressful situation ever, but I think I did it, and they look pretty good. You wouldn't be able to tell really that happened, but I don't want it to happen again, so let's just not. I'm gonna hold both ends of it. while I try to spread it out for you. So there is my lovely unblocked color work. So it's a tree. These are supposed to be stars like the northern lights, and then it's sitting on like a bed of snow and icicles, and they kind of come down to the bottom. The contrasting color I'm using is just an undyed cormo from Fox Hill Farms. They do a lot of like shows around here, so I think they're definitely at Rhinebeck. I think they're at New England Fiber Festival as well. And they just have a lot of great, like, Cormo, Morit, Romney, really soft, like, natural colored wools. So I wanted to use that with this to get a really nice contrast. I feel like I'm channeling my inner skein deer here, Ellie with the burgundy. So this is my first skein of Purred, and I still have a lot of it. I'm not alternating skeins. Usually when I do color work, I don't alternate the skeins on the color work portion, and then I start alternating on the single color portion. So I will alternate skeins on the body, but it's just too much trouble to have 3 skeins of yarn attached and be alternating the background color and then doing the color work. I think that with the color work, it's breaking it up enough anyway that it's not gonna be noticeable if there's, you know, like a shift in color. And my skeins are pretty well matched anyway. Also on here, I have an acquisition. This is from Charmed and Dangerous. Isn't it cute? It's a little beach donut. So it's like a crab and a little shell and a cloud and birds and sparkle sand. Do you like it, buddy? Can you stop going in front of there and sticking your tongue out? It's not fun. See my donut? Ah! Stop. Okay, stop.
And these are all from
These are all yarns.
I'll show you what this is. This is a tablet.
Okay.
I'll show you what I can do. You can talk.
So, in terms of next projects, when I finish up all of that noise, which the Hinterland Sweater won't take very long once I get through the color work part, and I'm pretty close. I think I have like 10 more rows of the chart, and then I'll separate for the sleeves. And then the body will be just straight, which will be awesome. And the shawl, I don't know, maybe a couple more weeks. But I do want to knit another one of these. I have some more Risata in purple. I'm kind of excited to find a use for this Risata because it has been sitting in my stash for a while, and I feel like this is a really functional sweater. So I do want to make a second one. So I have this really dark purple. This is called Marionberry, is the name of the yarn. So it's a deep like eggplant purple. But I only have 4 skeins. It took me 5 skeins of the buttermilk. So my thought was that I would do a different color underneath the brioche. So I think I'm gonna do this one because that's kind of coordinating. So it's a hand spun, but it's dark purple with barber pulled, like dark raspberry, navy, and a little bit of kind of orangey. So I think I'm going to do that as the undercolor of the brioche. And then I'm going to do like this lime green, the rest of my buttermilk. So this is all I had left of the 5 skeins of buttermilk. So I'll do that as a stripe, maybe the top stripe, and then I'll do lime green as the second stripe. And the third stripe, I'm going to do this blue. So this one is a different blue. This is navy. This one, I think it's called slate, but I don't No. Got a lot of random Risata. When I knew it was getting discontinued, I went and bought like all the ones I could, and then there was a Knitpicks like warehouse sale, and there were a bunch of Risata skeins that were unmarked and they didn't have labels or anything. They were just kind of in this box in a big tangle, so I grabbed them, and it was by the pound, the yarn, so I got a really good deal on it. So I have a lot of colors of it that I don't have names for, but yeah, I think those will be the 3 stripes. This will be the underneath color for those stripes, and then the body will be this. And that'll be nice to have a dark one and a light one. And then I will have gone through, like I said, a lot of Risata stash, which is awesome. Love using up stash and having a nice wardrobe of clothing. I'm really starting to get a good amount of sweaters and knitwear to wear, which is pretty exciting. Then this, I've got another purchase in. So I got Kristen's Gothic Yarn Club. No, I don't have the purchase in this. I originally had them kind of stuck together, but I decided not to use it. So I got her mystery skein, which I think is like her colorway for this year for Halloween, but I'm not sure. It's a like Strange Brew Mystery, but I didn't bring it. It's called Seance at Pemberley. I thought it would make a nice fade with this and another color, but then I had a different idea for this. So this is the Carmilla color from the Gothic Yarn Club. So I'm thinking I am gonna make an Ocello sweater. Olga Putano is the designer, by Olga Putano. And this is going to be the top part. So it looks almost like it has a lace collar on it, but it's all color work. So it's got a solid band, and then this is the contrasting color. So I'm going to use this color as the top. Then I'm going to use this color as the lacy collar portion with this contrasting. So this is Tiptoe from Voolenvine Yarns. This is leftovers that I have from my my faded Sperry sweater that I did, my mauve on mauve action as I called it. So it was where I held double some Once Upon a Corgi with all these different mauves to blend them together. But I had a lot of this one left. I have this, and then I have a smaller baby skein, so it should be more than enough for the yoke portion of that sweater with this. And then the body, I'm trying to decide. So like I picked out this color for the body, which would be fine. It's not super high contrasting, but it's got a big band of this before you start into the body. And that would be a nice way to use up the leftovers. So this is Perfectly Pink from Hey Sister Yarn Co. It is variegated, but it's very lightly variegated. So you can see there's a little bit of darker pink. Mostly this nice blush pink. So it's obviously going to be a mostly pink sweater. Or I have another one that's a little bit more speckly, which I didn't really think about until I sat down here. So I'm going to have to look at that. But I do want to make the Ocello sweater. I've had that pattern since it came out. And since I'm getting closer to finishing up that colorwork sweater, I'd like to start another one. So that is one thing that I pulled out. And then we're kind of transitioning into acquisitions. So Gabby had a virtual SSK booth for, because SSK wasn't in person this year. So I bought 5 skeins of Cat Eye Winked on DK. This is 3 of them. She dyes them 2 at a time, so 2 of them are much more blue. This one's a little bit less blue, but I think I can blend these 3 pretty well. So you can see like that one's got that light bit, which the others don't have. I am a little concerned about it, but I don't know. I do want to make a sweater out of it though, so I'm going to need 5. Because it's DK. So anyway, that is a, sorry, I have this hair that's driving me crazy. That is an Akatar inspired colorway, referring to the tattoo on Farah's arm and the little eye in the middle of it. Then I got a skein of Actually Stumbled on Ginger. I got this before, but I couldn't remember if I shared it. I bought it a while ago though, so that again is an Akatar inspired color. It's really pretty. It's black with like purples and reds and some golds. Don't know what I'm going to make out of it yet, but it's beautiful. And then in the SSK update, I also got 3 skeins of her ginger base in the Hello Witchling colorway. This one is going to be a Stroll sweater by Anna Johanna. And it's like a V-neck with 3 cables going down the front. So it made me think of Manon and her first and second of her 13, which is, it's from Throne of Glass. Which I reread that whole series in the time since I podcast last. I reread it all. That was my second time reading it, and it was fun to like see the stuff I missed with the first reading. Yeah, I really enjoyed it this time around. So that's going to be that pullover. And then I got 3 skeins of Knitpicks Surefoot sock yarn. This is a mohair, wool, and polyamide blend. So my thought was it's kind of similar to holding a strand of mohair double with fingering weight yarn, but way less expensive. Because it is pretty expensive to make those mohair sweaters. They're fun for a treat, but gosh, you can't do that all the time. So this is in the Darlin colorway. It's a really nice light smoky gray. My plan with this is to do a colorwork sweater with prickly pear from Voolenvine yarns. I have 1 skein of that on Blitzed, and I think I'm going to do the Noel pullover also by Olga Putano. So this is apparently, this episode is all Olga Putano sweaters. Because I love her sweaters. They're so pretty. But that one has some like heart motifs and little fun like fleur-de-lis and stuff. It's really pretty. So I think it'll be really beautiful with a super light gray and pink colorwork. So it's kind of a bright guava pink is what prickly pear is. So plus I love gray. It just matches my eyes. It's nice. I'm embracing my inner gray / neutrals-ish lifestyle. So yeah, lots of acquisitions, but like I said, it's been over a month, and some I had, and I can't remember if I shared with you or not. So hopefully, I haven't forgotten anything. I don't think I have. Winners, feel free to contact me, like I said, on any of the platforms. And yeah, otherwise, more general blah. I finished reading, like I said, all the Throne of Glass books. I read Crescent City, which I love, and I really hope that she does more of that series. I am a sci-fi junkie, so it was really fun to see kind of a sci-fi, fantasy, steampunk type thing happening. It's a new sort of genre for Sarah J. Maas, but it's good. It's really good. I recommend it. So yeah, I read Crescent City. I was gonna go to the library yesterday, and then I realized that our libraries are closed because of COVID-19. I thought that they were just like open for you to go pick things up, but their phone is disconnected. So I don't know if that was because of the storm we had blow through, because Hurricane Isaias was still a tropical storm when it blew through up here. We had a lot of wind and a lot of downed trees. A lot of people in Connecticut are still without power. We had power back pretty quickly. I think by that evening we had power back, but we still don't have cell service back up. So like we're on roaming. Somebody's cell tower is up, but not the one for our carrier. And then our internet was a little bit intermittent, and now it seems to be okay. So yeah, I was hoping I'd be able to go to the library and maybe start Outlander, because when I went before the pandemic, the first 2 books were not there. So I didn't bother to get all of them. I got Poldark instead. I read through to like book 4 on Poldark, but that's all I had checked out. I think there's like 7 or 8 books to that series. So again, I need to go to the library to get more of those. So yeah, any recommendations for series, let me know. I'm a little more hesitant to purchase a bunch of books just because I prefer to like read them in the library, and then if I really love a book, I will buy it so that I can have it to reread, because I am one of those people that rereads books like a lot. So I may reread a series I already have. It's been a while since I've read the Otherland books by Tad Williams, so I might do those. I might reread the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, or potentially Lord of the Rings. It's been a long time since I've reread Lord of the Rings. I've read The Hobbit a couple times, because I read it to Megwin and then she was like, let's start it again. So I started it over. But it's been quite a while since I've read Lord of the Rings. So yeah, I might reread that series. So I don't know. And then Josh has a couple of series of books that I've never read too. So maybe I'll do one of those. I've never read Ender's Game, which he says is good. So yeah, like I said, any suggestions, feel free to put them in the comments. Fantasy and sci-fi are kind of the genres that I enjoy the most. I've also thought about rereading Farewell to Manzanar, and I have a Sister Soldier book that has been a bit since I've read, so I might reread that one too. I don't know. But I feel like I need something to read now that I've kind of finished all of the Sarah J. Maas books, and there's a new one coming out in January that I have to wait for. So anyway, I'm babbling at this point, and I need to get the children more food, and it's amazing that they've left me alone for this long. I need to cut out some masks to start sewing for them for going back to school. So yeah, I need to get a wiggle on and do some other things. But it was very nice coming and chatting with all of you. I've really missed doing podcasting, so I hope I can be back to my bi-weekly schedule with the kids being home all the time, me working from home all the time, my husband being home almost all the time. It's hard to find a quiet moment to podcast, and I'm sure that you all are dealing with the same sorts of struggles. So I hope that you are all staying safe and healthy, that you take time to do the things that you love, and I will talk to you soon. All right, bye. Okay, do it again. You're not going to be able to put your legs around the vine. Oh, God. And now I'm out here waiting for Ada to go to the bathroom. So there's the branch that came down. There's a giant one that came down in the fire pit. A pretty big limb there in front of Josh's shed. And there's a bunch in the front yard, but I'm trying to stay away from there because the power is there. And Ada is just happily sniffing as though we're not in imminent danger right now. Come on, Ada. You get it moving, lady. So anyway, there's that.